We got a hole in our roof. Ah!
So we got our 14 by 14 template. We're gonna put that where we want it to go in here, and we've determined that this is the very middle.
So we're getting as best as we can, just taping underneath a bag to catch more of the metal flakes.
All right, we just put down our sticky butyl tape. It was a little bit of a pain to get off of the paper.
She's just putting some lap sealant around the screws. We got it all done and around. Happy about that. We're gonna let it dry a little bit, and then we're gonna mount this. And we're gonna eat some tacos right now.
Tacos. What? So guess what? It's finally going to happen. We are actually going to cut our first hole in our van. We've been excited but scared about it, and to be completely honest, we've been putting it off, stalling, doing everything else. But today, it's time.
Okay, so the last time we used power tools, our first time cutting one of the struts off, one of the blades actually flew off and hit me in the chest. So we've actually done other things than just wanting to cut holes. Also, too, secondly, is that we actually installed a roof rack. So that roof rack has some solar panels, and there's very specific places that we want the Maxxair Fan to fit. So we've been putting it off, and also we wanted to make sure that we are spacing it correctly. So today's the day. We put together a little bit of some tools. We watched a lot of videos, and now we're ready to do it. It's going to be it's a direct process, but it has multiple steps. So the first thing to do is we gathered everything that we needed. All right, so we gathered some of our materials that we're going to need. First, we need a ladder, obviously, to get on the roof. That's our ladder from Amazon. We like it. And then we're using a 14 by 14 template that we're going to be using as our main one. There's so many ways people were doing it, but we just wanted to use a template, and we're going to etch around. We saw some people do it, like Linnea and Akila do it. Thank you, guys. And then our other materials, butyl tape to go underneath it, the file to file things down, a couple safety glasses, measuring tape. That's after we cut it, the Rust-Oleum. We're going to put it around the edge. We got our lap sealant to waterproof everything. And we're actually going to be doing two things. We're going to be comparing a jigsaw with the angle grinder. And we're going to see which one is better, because then we're going to be cutting holes for our bench windows and also our sliding door window, which hasn't been done yet. We got our drill and drill bits for pilot holes, got our saw blades, a metal blade needed, and then we got a drop cloth and tape. We're actually going to be sticking a drop cloth and tape and taping it down underneath there so that we don't get metal shavings on our subfloor, which is already in. And that is about it. And number one, boom, there's our Maxxair Fan that's going to be going in. So let's get going. So the first thing I'm doing is making sure that I put the solar panels up. We haven't installed these yet into the roof rack because I want to make sure that the Maxxair fits right in there. As you can see, we actually had already previously taped out where it's going to fit. I haven't installed or put these in yet in case we got to move them a little bit, but this is the ideal location for everything, and we just got to figure out this way how it fits, because we're pretty sure that's the center, and we know where the center is underneath the van. I just have to figure out, because there's two crossbars underneath, that we need to make sure it fits then this way.
So we got our 14 by 14 template. We're going to put that where we want it to go in here, and we've determined that this is the very middle corrugation of the van. And so we're going to place this, I already marked this the very middle spot last night, so we're ready to go. And we're going to put that up there, get it right in the middle.
If you look up here closely, you're going to see our little line that we got. So we measured this way, and then we're just going to drill a hole up through the center, and then once we're up there, then we'll lay our template on it and then drill some more pilot holes so that we make the square square. Here we go. First hole. So because we got our subfloor already in, we're being very careful of putting down a tarp here, and then also we're going to be taping up a bag underneath here, so when we're drilling more up on top and cutting into it, that we're getting every single metal shaving possible. So we're getting as best as we can, just taping underneath a bag to catch more of the metal flakes. It's not going to be perfect, but we also got the tarp down on bottom too. Okay, so there's our hole there. So you can see it's further back than we thought we were going to place it. And that puts us right about there. And then do our test of jigsaw versus grinder. Boom. Okay, so I was kind of confused because we want to move this back. This almost fits exactly on the ProMaster, it fits almost exactly in the corrugations inside of here. However, the outer ring, the thickness of this brings it up just a little bit on here. That's why you end up having a 14 by 14 is what most people ask for. However, I actually just measured outer to outer, and it's really like 13 and like 7/8, which fits exactly in this and here. We're just going to follow our instructions of going 14 by 14, but we are going to move it over because the lip comes so much over that you can even mess up a little bit and it's going to be fine. But we're going to bring it over because the feet are going to rest on this regardless, but for the cutting it'll make it easier if this line is this seam and on this side the seam is the higher angle seam, and that'll give me a better target than trying to do it halfway up this corrugation. And I think that's what we're going to do, and hopefully not mess up. So I'm starting with the jigsaw first because everything is kind of solidly down, and this is a reciprocating, and some people say it kind of herks and jerks back and forth. A lot of people recommended using an angle grinder, so I'm going to compare the two, and then at least that'll give us an idea about what works best when we decide to do our side windows. We'll still probably have to do the jigsaw for the corners, but if the angle grinder is substantially better, then we'll use that for other future cuts in our van. So we're going to start with this one first. That's actually really damn good at a nice straight line. Like we used it before on some other metal pieces to kind of test it out, and now this is really, really good on that straight line. And we're not trying to curve either because we're just going straight down, and we have some holes cut into the corners to give us that room for the jigsaw. So I'm going to cut another half, another side of this, and then we're going to try the grinder. Come and check out the lines. They made really good lines in them. And I thought, actually, when I tested this out using jigsaw before, it was harder to keep. But on the metal, it just made really nice straight lines there. I actually didn't know where I was going here on this crease trying to figure it out, but that was more me than the machine. So we'll test the angle grinder next. Okay, so what we're doing here is taping down some, do them longer. We're taping down this so that it doesn't fall through, and we can just pick it up here. We saw some other people do this, and we think it's a good idea. So we're going to tape this down, and it allows us to keep this piece up here now that we got these two going. Another thing is, these little guys are everywhere, these little metal bits, so just be careful with your hands and stuff. You don't really want to wear all of this if you can avoid it. So already I'm seeing the issue with the angle grinder is that I'm trying to get this particular line here, and it was kind of coming off at an angle. We're trying to get on top of this crease, and it kind of just went down the crease. I already like the jigsaw more. I'm gonna try to get another clean cut with this on this side one, but I'm sure this is just because I'm a rookie at this. But so far for a rookie, the jigsaw was much easier. Okay, so I just decided after messing around with it a little bit that I'm just going to go straight with the jigsaw. Much simpler. I was able to stay online. The angle grinder blade came loose because it was sliding down. I may just need to tighten it down. Like I say, I'm probably just a rookie, and everyone uses angle grinders better than I can. But for a rookie, the jigsaw was just much easier. So I'm just going to finish this out with the jigsaw. Well, so much for that idea. I've seen other people do it really easily where it just stays up here. This herked and jerked at the end there, and then the thing fell through into my plastic bag, and the best laid plans. Now we got to clean up a little bit. There's so much metal shavings up here. Look at all these. That's a great hole, but there's metal shavings everywhere, so I'm gonna have to clean all those up with the shop vac, and then we're gonna go and spray it off later. Is probably the best idea because it's everywhere. I mean, it's in all of these corrugations. But we got a hole cut. Woo!
All right, so let's check out our base, make sure it fits in our freshly cut hole. I'm gonna put the clips on the sides and the whole thing's facing up. So we're gonna slide that in there. Nice, got just a little bit of play, and that's okay because it's covered. The holes are gonna go right over top of the raised corrugation, so I think that's gonna be awesome. All right, so now I'm going to file down these edges so they're not quite so scratchy. All right, so next step is we're going to put some Rust-Oleum over our freshly cut metal so that we don't have rust issues in the future. All right, next step is the butyl tape. And the stuff's kind of like gum, a little sticky, but as you know, we have corrugations in here, so I'm going to be putting down an extra layer in the corrugation first so that when I lay it down around the whole periphery, it should be even. All right, we just put down our sticky butyl tape. It was a little bit of a pain to get off of the paper, so sometimes you just kind of had to scrape it off with the scissors. But we got it there, and we ended up doing 2 layers. I see it better over here. 2 layers of the butyl tape in each of the corrugations, and then we did one across the top. Okay, so we're going to put our base in there now, just without pressing it down, just to make sure everything's good. Yep, fits nicely.
Okay, she's going to put that down, and then we're going to place this over it before we press down any further, and then just make sure that these holes line up where we want them there.
All right, on the side of the clips.
And that's it.
Holes are drilled. Had a little bit of a trouble on a couple of them because they were on the angle part of the corrugation, but we just kind of had to come in with the drill on an angle and made it work. So next step is we're going to put the screws in, and we just have the Phillips head bit on the drill so that we can screw them in easily. Alright, so we got all the screws in, and now we're going to put the Maxx Fan on. But before that happens, we want to make sure these clips are aligned. Remember how I told you before, we want to make sure that those holes line up with the holes in there. But I don't want to put a bunch of sealant on there and then be messing with it and get it all over the place, because you know that'll happen. So we're just going to realign the clips real quick, put that back on there, check the holes, make sure they're in good alignment, take it off nice and easy, and then we're going to seal everything up with lap sealant. So once we place that Maxx Fan over the clips in the right spot, then we'll be able to, and put the screws in, then we'll be able to go ahead and put the sealant all around the edges, underneath the corrugations, and on top of every screw, including the screws that are going to be on the side of the Maxx Fan. make a bigger mess. Bigger mess.
Right, so we got the sealant on, and we're just on full night light now. You got one up in the tree here. We're lucky we have a tree. But yeah, we got it all done and around. Happy about that. We're gonna let it dry a little bit, and then we're gonna mount this, and we're gonna eat some tacos right now.
Tacos.
And come back out here and at least wrap that up, because we can't leave this open basically tonight, so we're gonna have to let it dry at least a little bit and then get that mounted. Boom.
Okay, drill.
Well, first you need to get them in there.
Oh.
Okay, so we got those last screws on. Boom, and then we put lap sealant around them. Boom and boom. Ouch, gosh, that hurts. Okay, so we got lap sealant on it. That one right there. That one right there. Now it's done. Looks great. We got it in. We're gonna leave this on for a while. But we did it in the middle of the night. Look how dark it is. Boom. I don't know if it's the middle of the night. It's like 8 o'clock, but it's already getting later now. But that's in. So we got our deck, got the Maxxair. Now we just need to put in the rest of the panels, and our roof will be complete. Boom. All right. She's just putting some lap sealant around the screws, just as a little bit of extra precaution. But they're all screwed down. Look at that. And so she got her headlamp on. Bam. Good job. It's not that easy. This is self-leveling too, so it's not gonna, it's gonna kind of come down. Make sure that they're all covered up. There we are. Oh. All right. All right, so we're getting our fairing in today and finish out the Maxxair Fan now that we got our ceiling set in there. So I know it's kind of out of order with some of our videos, but once we get this in, we're good. So I already did it, and I measured about 2.5 inches is what's left. So I'm gonna get that cut out, and then we're gonna get this installed, and that'll complete it out. Now here's a little tip that we have for this, because sometimes this sits around for a while and until you're ready to install it finally. And we kept setting it down this way, so we ended up with a few more blemishes and some marks that you can't really see them on this than we wanted. So I really had to clean it off and scrub it. It's too bad, because you can avoid that just by not setting it down on its face when you set it down this way. Set it down some other way, and that'll be it. So now that we finished cutting it, just take those off. Just gonna do a little fitting on it. Oh, look at that! It's nice. That is nice. Boom. Okay, so I got it cut down. It was roughly about 2.25 inches with us when we used this tongue and groove sealing. And you know what? We fretted a lot about these kind of cuts on something, and it has to be exact and precise. And as long as it's a little, we have some little edges here that you can see. We didn't get perfect with the grinder, where I had to continue again and kind of get off track. But as long as it's shorter than your rim that you need here, than the spacing you need, it's a little bit shorter, not too long, well, it's going to fit. And that's all you really need to worry about. It's not supposed to be some sort of airtight seal from the top down, watertight seal or anything, but there it goes. So I'm just going to drill that in now, and we'll be done with this aspect. So I'm gonna pre-drill some holes first because we actually cracked these before, so I might just make sure that I'm pre-drilling it a little. And that's why you wear glasses, so stuff doesn't fall in your eyes. And I personally love using the impact drivers for all of this stuff. As long as you don't... Boom! That is solid on there. I'm happy about that. Looks great. Like I mentioned before, we just wish we wouldn't have set it down on its face so much on this side, because now we're going to have to actually do a little bit better job of just cleaning it and scraping it around, or covering it with a little bit of cover paint so that it looks brand new and fresh for our fresh new ceiling. So we're excited and happy. Mostly done. Now we just got to wire it and test it, and that'll be it. Boom.
Yay! Maxx Fan is installed. So the next step is wiring. So let me show you over here that the wire is coming through the ceiling and out through here. And I just want to show you that I labeled it Maxx Fan. Always good idea to label your stuff because you're going to have more wires. And it's just going to come all the way down here. I'm not going to show you all the way, but we don't have that part done yet, but it's going to go all the way to the fuse box. So now I got my remote that comes with it. We'll turn that guy on and check it out. What? So some really cool things about this remote is that you can have it go faster, slower. You can see the percentage, the speed on the bottom, and then it gives you the temperature that it's going to be in the room as well. And then of course you could, and then you can also have it either be the air out, so it's flowing out, or air in, so it's sucking into your van, so you can adjust your flow however you want. It is so cool. And then of course I can just close the hatch, boop, with the touch of a button. Hey guys, we are super excited to have this fan up. Thanks so much for watching, and tune in next week for more van shenanigans.